Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Cassandra and today I'm joined by Brett.
Hi.
Brett has a yoga YouTube channel. You can find her by looking up Brett Larkin Yoga. So today I'm kind of switching things up a little bit and I just wanted to get a little bit more candid and talk to you guys. So it's January and whenever we get into that month, there's kind of an energy in the air about wanting to start new routines and then change your lifestyle a little bit. And we can put a little bit of pressure on ourselves and we kind of, we get all crazy with our resolutions because we want to get healthier, which is a really wonderful thing to want. And yoga seems like a natural fit for that. As a yoga beginner, when you're trying to start yoga, it can be really overwhelming.
Intimidating.
Yeah, intimidating. There are so many different kinds of yoga classes and yoga styles. And do you want to practice in a studio? Do you want to do it at home? How are you supposed to practice at home? It can be really overwhelming and it can deter people from starting or even maintaining a yoga practice. So I have kind of combined my 5 tips that I would like to share with you on how to start a yoga practice in a way that's sustainable and realistic also, and easy. We want to keep it really easy and simple, and Brett, as an amazing yoga teacher and yogi herself, or yogini herself, is gonna offer us her advice as well. So first and foremost, I think when you're just starting off, number 1 tip, use the internet. We are in the amazing era of the internet and you have so many free yoga resources right at your fingertips, like my channel and Brett's. So instead of going, to classes and studios or shelling out a bunch of money to try something that you don't even really know if you're gonna enjoy or not, go online and just type yoga and see what comes up. So internet by far is the biggest and best resource you will have at your disposal.
Especially if you're just intimidated to go to a class, you feel like you won't be able to follow along, just do some classes at home first and then you'll just get a sense of what the poses are, what the names are. When you actually hit the studio, you'll feel so much more comfortable.
I have to say that's the number 1 feedback or message that people send me. Like viewers like yourself will sometimes write into me and say, thank you. I was too scared to go to a yoga class for, XYZ. They just didn't feel comfortable going to a studio because they're new to the practice, and they were able to start and maintain a yoga practice by just using free resources online. Why not, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, why not? So that's definitely my first piece of advice. Second piece of advice, if you want to start a yoga practice, is you need to get some gear, but use stuff you already have. So, yoga mats, yoga clothing, blocks, straps, bolsters, wheels, it can all get a little too much and a little pricey, to be honest. So if you're not really sure if yoga is gonna be right for you, I always recommend that people use what they have. Don't go out and buy a bunch of clothes. Wear something that's loose and comfortable that you can just move in.
When I practice at home, I practice in my pajamas, so.
Free. You don't need to go out and buy a bunch of fancy stuff. And even when it comes to actual gear, so the first yoga mat I ever bought was a $5 mat and I used it for 3 years. It was my all-time favorite yoga mat.
Yeah, mine was a $12 mat. It went to India with me 2 times and I still have it and won't even get
That's
rid of
awesome.
it for sentimental reasons. So
I had to get rid of it because it had streaks on it and I tried to wash it and it just made it way worse.
Yeah, the bottom line is you don't need expensive stuff to get started. Just start.
You don't, exactly. And props really are useful, like blocks and strap and stuff, especially if you know that you're inflexible and you want that extra little help, but you can use stuff that you already have at home. So if you don't own a strap, I like to use a belt. It does almost the same thing, and pretty much everyone has a belt at home, right? And for a block, a really thick book, like a dictionary, works wonders. For a bolster, just grab some cushions and some pillows. Get creative. You really don't need to be spending a bunch of money. Spend money when you know that this is something you're gonna want to invest in.
And that's another thing I tell people, before you buy the expensive mat or buy the nice blocks or strap, try them out in the studio first. Most studios have brands of props. So if you see a brand that you like, note that down, and then you know you're getting something you already like.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so tip number 3, and this was key for me when I was starting my own yoga practice. Variety is the most important. So we've already kind of talked about this. There are a ton of different styles of yoga out there. Kundalini, power, hatha, vinyasa, yin, restorative, prenatal, power.
I'm dizzy.
Yeah, exactly. So me being pretty experienced, I love that there's a lot of variety because it means I have lots of stuff to play with. But when you're new, you go to a class and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what any of these mean. And it kind of, it can turn you off. It can really turn you off to the practice of yoga. So when you're new, my challenge to you, and this is exactly what I did when I was first starting off, I picked 5 styles and I tried all of them. So my favorite ones like Hatha, Vinyasa Flow, Yin, Restorative, and Power, I think give you a well-rounded overview of what yoga is like. So you can do, restorative or yin if you're looking for something that's a little bit easier to just mellow out and gain flexibility. If you're looking for, to get a little lean and get a little stronger, you can go for Vinyasa Flow and Power, whereas Hatha will be a little bit more of a well-rounded practice. But the mistake I see people make is that they'll go to one class in one specific style, not like it,
and then quit yoga.
That's it. Yoga's not for them. They hate yoga.
Yeah, and a tip here for those of you who are on a budget is most studios have intro specials for new students. So you should go to every studio that's remotely near you and do the intro special because it's really inexpensive and you'll be able to try a bunch of different styles on the cheap.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's my challenge to you. Pick a couple styles and go out and try them until you find something that you personally connect with.
You need to try a lot.
Exactly. Until you fall in love. And you might fall in love with a couple different styles. That's fine too. Yeah. Okay, 4th tip. And this is really, really, really important, especially in our age of social media. Keep it simple. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. It's really easy to go online and see everyone doing like handstands and crazy arm balances and poses that you look at and it turns you off because you think, ooh, if that's yoga, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do yoga. But really, there is such a wide scope and a wide range of practices that come with yoga. It doesn't all have to be crazy poses. It can be meditation and breathing exercises and just really simple postures that you'll find in a beginner class. Don't get caught up in the stigma of being a beginner. Being a beginner is amazing. It's such a wonderful opportunity to grow, and you can really only go up from there. So go to the beginner yoga classes and enjoy them. Don't worry about all the fancy other stuff that people are doing. Focus on how you feel.
I agree. Just see if you can put blinders on. Even I get intimidated by half the stuff I see on Instagram.
Yeah.
I can't do any of that stuff. And instead of beating myself up, I just stay focused on my practice and what works for me. So you guys should do the same thing.
Yeah, the great thing about yoga is that it's different from other kinds of sports and physical activity that tend to focus on the outcome, right? So how good am I at something? Yoga is a lot different. It'll focus on how do I feel when I'm doing something. So it doesn't really matter what you look like, even though, on social media, we might enjoy the images. It doesn't matter if you're able to do it if you don't feel good while you're doing it, right? So keep it simple and you should be fine. Yeah? All right, last tip. When you're ready, you've gone online, you've tried some classes by yourself at home, I'm just gonna put it out there, go and take a class. I know taking a class can be really intimidating and sometimes you just feel like you don't really belong. You go to a class and everyone looks so bendy and so, strong and advanced. And my best tip, and that's what I did also at first, is I brought a buddy. I didn't want to go alone and know no one. So I brought a friend and we went to a beginner class and that's how it all started.
Yeah, another tip I'd throw in there is tell the teacher you're new and introduce yourself and tell the teacher that you want hands-on adjustments. Because a lot of times teachers, if they don't know you, they'll be a little tentative until they see you in class a couple times to adjust you. But if you're comfortable being touched and you really want attention from the teacher, feel free to tell them that at the beginning of class. Because we as teachers, we don't know how much attention each person gets and what they're comfortable with. So if you go up to the teacher and say, hey, I'm a beginner, I'm really trying to get better, I don't get to teach or I don't get to practice in person that much, will you give me some hands-on adjustments? Teachers are usually really open to that.
Yeah. I found it really hard to follow along the first time or the first couple of times I took a yoga class. I had come from the world of dance where everything is very much laid out, Every single alignment cue is perfectly outlined and detailed. And then I got to yoga, and yoga is very much about how you feel and how you're breathing. So I had a hard time following, which meant I was looking at everyone else in the class, which was good because I was able to follow along, but then I fell into that trap where I was comparing myself. So just leave that out the door. You know, you're not here to look at everyone else. You can look at them for guidance, but really this is about you. This is about you doing something positive and healthy for your own well-being, and that is so important and so beautiful. So don't let other people muddy that for you and destroy it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add? Other tips that I haven't covered?
No, I think this is good. Guys, if you like this video, you should definitely give it a thumbs up. I think Kassandra put together some really good tips, and thanks for inviting me to chime in.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for letting me film in your studio. I'm lucky enough to be visiting San Francisco right now, so I linked up with Brett to film all these classes. But if there is something that I haven't covered that you as a beginner would like to know, just leave me a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer your questions and help you out. I'm also going to be developing some more beginner-friendly yoga classes on my channel, although I do have a lot already. So if you want to take tip number 1 and use the internet to your advantage, you can look at mine and Brett's beginner yoga classes. There's a lot of good stuff out there. So, all right, I guess we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, just being an amazing community. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, go subscribe to Brett Larkin Yoga as well and give her videos a thumbs up. I'm sure she'll appreciate it. And have yourself a wonderful day. Namaste.